I will be honest, you guys, I have no idea where this video is going to be going today. So last week, I asked you guys if you wanted to see a clean with me video or me to talk about student loans in a video. And a large majority said clean with me. So then I got to thinking, I'm like, instead of talking about student loans only in a video, why don't I share my money story? Why did we get on this debt-free journey? Where did our money situation start? And to talk about the student loans as well. So you guys, I have nothing written down for this video. I'm just going to sit here and openly talk to you about money and my husband's money story. I don't think I've talked about it on this channel. I have talked about why I started YouTube, and I've talked about my postpartum depression. If you've not seen that video, I will link it in a card above. So I just thought I would sit down and openly talk to you about our money story. Let me start by saying that I know money and debt is a subject that a lot of people keep secret, and I have decided to open up about mine on this channel because that is my way of helping myself and helping others, because debt and money and trying to, you know, make more money and all of that is something that all of us are experiencing in some way. So why not be open about it? So I'm very open about, you know, how much debt we have, how much we owe, and all of that. So I'm gonna go a little bit deeper into the money story today. So if you've not seen any of my budgeting videos, I will link my budgeting playlist in a card above. I talk about how we budget, how we got our snowball, how we paid for a $800 Disney vacation, all of that. All of the numbers and everything are in that playlist above. If you have any additional questions, please let me know in the comments below. That's going to be the common question for today. If you have any money questions, please leave it in the comments, because here is the thing. One question can give me that light bulb moment that creates a video over a question. So please leave any and all money questions in the comments below. So I will start by saying, we're going to take it all the way back to college. In college, I originally was not going to school to be a teacher. I got a business administration degree. It ended up taking me 5 years instead of 4 because I was doing fashion merchandising until my senior year. I changed my senior year to do business administration because I did a summer internship at Macy's, and it was after my junior year, and it was a great internship. I got offered a second internship, but God told me that retail was not going to be the life for me. I wanted to have kids, and I wanted to give my kids what my mom gave me and my sister. My mom was at everything. She took us to school in the morning. She picked us up in the afternoon. She had a schedule that was a little bit flexible for her to be able to be there for me and my sister. Now, my parents are divorced, so my dad was not in the picture in any of those type of things. The daily grind is what I call it. So that is what I wanted to give my kids. So I changed my major. So then I got out and I worked at St. Jude Children's Research Hospital in the fulfillment department, which deals with all of the fundraisers and things, for a year and a half. I lived on my own in Memphis, and Nathan was still in school. So he was in school, he changed his major, he was doing computer science, and then he changed his major to do physical education and to become a coach. He now has a master's degree in athletic administration. So after he graduated, he went into teaching and coaching. And at that moment, I decided that I needed to go back to school and get my teaching certificate. Not because teaching was something that I really was passionate about, but because it would fit in the schedule for us to get married and have kids. I wanted to be able to be there for my kids. I wanted to be able to be there for his games and for his traveling and all of that. So I quit my job in 2006. I moved to our hometown where he was teaching and coaching. We moved in together. And please, I do not want anybody attacking me in the comments talking about how I moved in with my boyfriend before I was married. It was a personal choice. It is not a choice that everybody should make. It is an individual type of choice. We've been together since we were 16 and 17. We knew we were gonna get married. And I'm sure at this moment you're probably wondering where all this goes and why am I not talking about money yet? Because you need the story to know where the money goes. So, or how it's created, or how it's becoming an issue, or how it became in the spotlight for us. So, I do not want you to tag me in the comments because I moved in with my boyfriend before I was married. It was a personal choice. It's not a choice that everybody should make. It needs to be a personal one, and one that you are really serious about. We were 16 and 17 when we started dating. We made it through, 5 years of college, separated from each other. So here's the thing. I was terrified of divorce, and you can probably hear my husband mowing right behind here, so excuse me if you can hear that. I will say that again. I was terrified of divorce. I am a child from a divorced family. My parents had an ugly divorce. Very ugly. And I did not want to go through that. I did not want my future kids to go through that. And I wanted to make sure that Nathan and I could live together before we made that trip down the aisle. I'm not saying that that's for everybody. I'm not saying that we made the right decision for us. Because if we couldn't live together, then we didn't need to have same finances. We did not need to be married. So that was our little grace period, I would say. So we lived together from 2000, it was like September of 2006. We got engaged January of 2007. So we lived together about 6 months before he proposed. And then July of 2007, we were married. So we did spend 6 months together roughly before we got engaged. So it was the right path for us. It doesn't mean that it's for everybody. But during that period, I did not have an income. I was working on my teaching certificate. So we lived in a little small house. The rent wasn't a whole lot. And we lived off of his income for a year. So, and I did do some substitute teaching a couple times a week, but we based our budget on his income. So we had no car payment at that time. I was still driving my vehicle that I had when I was 16. He didn't have a vehicle payment because he was driving his sister's older car. So we made it work. It was probably some of the best times, you guys. Seriously, we didn't have a lot of money, but we had love. We had a small house. We were able to, we didn't take vacations and all that kind of thing, but I feel like that we started at the bottom and we have walked this path together. So once we got married, we decided to move into a larger rent house. So we moved into a larger rent house. The rent was a little bit more, like probably $150 more. So at that moment, I was then teaching, so we had 2 incomes. So then we had Kate. Then we moved to we bought a home. We actually built a home across the street from the one we had rented. and we love that house. We would not have built a house, but the same price our mortgage and our insurance was how much rent was going for. Now comes to the money part. So that's where I want to start with all the money. So we bought a house and we were both teaching. I decided to move schools to my hometown. So I started working at my hometown after Kate was 1, I think in 2010. At that moment, we had 1 vehicle. We could not afford 2. So we had 1 vehicle payment, and we kind of made it work. Everything money-wise, we plan out. So I knew, hey, I want to get pregnant next year. So we seriously got married the next summer in 2008. We bought a vehicle. 2009, Kate came. Before we could have Derek, we knew that car needed to be paid off so that we could afford the bills for Derek. Here's the thing, we could only afford 1 car. So we were a 1-car family for a nice period of time. And sometimes my husband would walk down the street to football practice and to school because we lived within like a mile from school. So we made that work until it got to a point where, you guys, we sat down at the table and both of us, we were working in our hometown at that school. There were months that we sat down and we only got paid once a month, and we would pay the bills. And I would go, Nathan, how are we gonna make it until next month off of the money that we have left? It was not a whole lot. And you guys, our house payment was not a lot. So we didn't have an extravagant house. We had a smaller home. We had 1 car payment. And it got to where we didn't even have a car payment because we made sure before we had Derek that that car was paid off. And still in 2013, we would sit down and go, I mean, there was times I cried because I'm like, I don't know how we're gonna make it to the next month. And yes, let me mention this. We could have reached out to our parents and asked for money. That's not part of what we believe. We are married. We have 2 kids. Our financial responsibilities are on our plate. Our parents are not responsible for bailing us out. And we lived basically the same as we do right now. We didn't go out and buy extravagant amount of groceries. We made sure, you know, there were times when I would stand in the grocery store with my calculator and calculate as food went in my basket. So we had degrees, we had 1 car payment, and then we had no car payment. And we just could not, it was getting to where we just could not afford to work where we were working. And I know that may sound bad, but we weren't making enough money. You guys, the insurance was so high that we had to take out a separate policy for both of our kids, because for all 4 of us to be on school insurance was going to cost over $1,000 a month. I'm not joking. For all of us to be on the same insurance through the school, it was going to cost us over $1,000 a month. So I prayed about it, and I prayed about it, and I prayed about it. And then the summer of 2014, God intervened. There was a job, an assistant football job where we are right now, that fell into Nathan's lap. And he was a head coach, like very successful head coach of our hometown, was winning, has like an amazing record in our hometown, would have continuously won if we would have stayed there. But he got offered this job. We turned it down 4 or 5 times. And I can remember sitting in the bathtub and Nathan comes in there and he goes, Kristin, they're not taking no as an answer. And this is like the end of June. And I looked at him and I said, maybe God's telling us it's time to go. And I said, if it's our time to go, all of these puzzle pieces are gonna work out. Derek's gonna be able to get a daycare. Kate's gonna be able to get into school. We're gonna sell this house and we're gonna find a rent house. And in 1 month, all of those things happened. So I knew that God was telling us that this was our next move. So we moved from our hometown because we could not afford it. There were times that we had to put groceries on a credit card. I was very much against that. We had doctor bills, we had, I mean, you couldn't afford groceries, and we did not have an extravagant lifestyle. We did not go out and spend tons of money. We didn't have it. And there were still times when we had to put groceries on the credit card. So we moved in 2014 because of money. And I'm not ashamed to say that. We moved because we couldn't afford to live there. It was going to put us in major debt. So now let's go to the present. So in 2014, we moved because of money. We could not afford to live where we were currently living. And I will tell you, it is the best decision we have made because we have been able to do so much more since moving. So our lifestyle has still stayed the same, but we earn more money here and the insurance is a whole lot less. So we were able to get all 4 of us covered through the school for an amazing price. So in the school that we were at before, we couldn't afford to have all 4 of us on the school's policy. So Derek and Kate had separate insurance policies than me and Nathan. So here we are able to put all 4 of us on a group policy through the school, but not only for medical, but for dental and cancer insurance. We have all of the insurance on them that we have for ourselves. So we are very blessed in that way. So now that we're in a better money situation, why did we decide to go down this debt-free journey? And back in 2018, I was just tired of the nickeling and diming. All of those little bills add up. Derek had his tonsils removed, and then Derek broke his wrist at preschool, and then with all of the, the kids getting strep and having to go to the doctor for this and that, we had a lot of the small medical bills. Also, student loans and credit cards. So my husband and I sat down and we're like, look at all of these unnecessary debts. So we are type people that like to sit down and evaluate how much we are spending. So we were like, okay, this could be eliminated. This could be eliminated. This could be eliminated. So we sat down and I was like, we're gonna do the Dave Ramsey's snowball. It's like, we're gonna start with the smallest, and it was very frustrating at the beginning when you're like paying all those payments and you're like, it's not going anywhere. But then when you're snowball, it's just like a snowball. It gets small and then it starts growing and growing and growing. So it took us 2 years to get the major snowball that we have now. So I just got tired of all of the debt, even to the point where, you guys, we would go on vacation. And yes, we had saved up for vacation and did all of that, but still in my head, I'm going, oh, we need to make sure we watch the groceries. Oh, we can't put that in the basket because we've got this credit card debt. So it just got to be way overwhelming. So I'm just so tired of the feeling of, we've got all of these bills and I don't want to live paycheck to paycheck anymore. So we have started throwing massive amounts on payday towards our debts. I'm so tired of dealing with the debts. So if you've not seen my video where I talk about the zero balance budget, I will leave that in a card above. It gives you a little bit more insight into how we budget and how we afford groceries and all of that. So I'll talk about that in the zero balance budget video. So we have student loans. Right now, we are not paying on our student loans because through the whole COVID-19, they are not making you pay your student loans until October. Now, this has been a personal decision. I'm not saying this is best for everybody, but at the time, I had like $4,500 in credit card debt. My husband has roughly a little over $5,000. So those payments that we're using for our student loans could really help us get these 2 credit cards paid off and eliminate those debts with the interest. So we sat down and we made the decision that we were going to attack the credit cards since the student loans did not have any interest and we did not have to pay them. So I do talk about this in my budgeting videos. So I am going to link some budgeting videos in the cards above, as well as some separate ones, not just the playlist, where I break down the snowball. I share all of that with you, especially how we accumulated the snowball. So I'm going to put the snowball video above. But it has taken a lot of dedication. It has taken a lot of, after every paycheck, we do not have a lot of money left. Like right now, we get paid in a few days and we are at the bottom of our paycheck. And you guys, it would be so easy for me to sit down here and get really upset that we were, you know, working towards the bottom of our check, but we set it up that way. We set it up so all of the extra that we have is getting thrown at a debt. So on the 10th, we've got $550. On the 25th, we've got $450. So that is $1,000 a month that we are throwing towards debt. So at the rate we are going right now, we should have both credit cards paid off at the end of August, which means by the time student loans pick up again, we would be at that stage anyways. So I just got so sick, and I'm currently so sick of dealing with the extra debt. And don't get me started about student loans. I know I signed up for the student loans, but I feel like that system is such a crooked system. And I felt like that was the only way that I could go to school back when I was 18. So we're gonna pay them. They're next on the list after the credit cards. And I'm not gonna stress about it because they are what they are. I got a degree over it. It's not good to have student loan debt, but I have it and there's not anything I can do about it. So you guys, I wanted to give you a little bit of insight into our money story, how we got to where we are today. There was a time when we didn't have enough money every single paycheck. We were having to charge groceries, and we decided to make the hard decision to move because it was going to be best for our family, our money situation. You guys, there is no way if we would have stayed at our old jobs that I could have done a YouTube channel. No way. There's no way we could take family vacations every year. There's no way that we could have had a second vehicle. They just weren't going to be something in our future. Kate would not have been able to do cheer. None of that. We would have not been able to afford any of the extras that we have now. So you guys, that is all for this video. I know I didn't share any like really good money numbers with you. I just wanted to give you the story. Where have we came? Where did we start? Where's our path? What is our goal? Our goal is to be able to not pull the credit cards out, to be able to go on vacation and just be able to live comfortably and not have any consumer debt but our home. So we're well on our way in baby step 2, and it feels amazing. I will tell you, I'm gonna get a little personal. I will tell you, when I sat down the other day to do the 25th paycheck, which is today, I got so emotional and about started crying because of my credit card started at like $4,500. And when I wrote down the number $434, it was like I could almost feel the rock coming off my chest. And you don't realize it until you're trying really hard to tackle that money goal. And it feels so good knowing by June 10th that I'm gonna have that credit card paid off. And our goal is to not have to use it. So we have a cushion right now in savings to where if anything happened, we could use that. So we have money for vacation and all of that, and we won't have to pull from the credit card. I don't want to have to use the credit card anymore. My husband doesn't want to have to use the credit card anymore. So that is our goal in this entire thing, is to eliminate all of our consumer debt and to have the savings and the cash to be able to afford the things that we need. So you guys, that is all for this video. In the comments below, I want you to share any questions that you might have. Remember, like I said, any question can give me a light bulb moment that will create an entire video. So if I have enough questions, I'll do a Q&A video, or I'll make separate videos over those questions. I always write everything down. So please make sure you share any and all money questions in the comments below. Don't be scared to ask me anything. I will answer just about anything. So you guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you give it a big thumbs up. By giving my videos a thumbs up, it shows YouTube you're engaged and you like my content, which means they'll start suggesting it and recommending it to more people, which means our community will grow and will continue to spread positivity. Also, I hope you hit that red subscribe button to become a part of our community and our mission to get organized, on a budget, and with a plan together. I hope you guys have a fantastic week, and until next time, bye you guys.